Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.
Hello, it's Lexi here with Kelowna Now, and I'm sitting down to do our weekly community spotlight. I don't know much about this company, so I'm thrilled and a little bit surprised when they walked in. I was like, oh wow, you guys are young. So I have Dr. Aspen and Lexi here, and they are sisters also, which is fun fact that I just learned. And I just want to start off by getting you both to introduce yourselves, because I mean, you have that knowledge, I don't. So maybe we'll start with Lexi.
Yeah, so I'm Lexi. I'm the youngest of the sisters and grew up here in Kelowna. We absolutely love it here in the Okanagan. And I went off to business school at UBC Sauder in Vancouver. And so I run more of the business side of the business. And I took business technology management and entrepreneurship. So I had no idea how much it was going to help me in our entrepreneurial journey. And I am the COO of VMetrics. I'm also the product owner. So I create the app and all about the member experience and improving that for everyone who walks their journey with us.
Great. I'm Dr. Aspen Percival. I'm a naturopathic doctor here in town. I also teach yoga here in Kelowna and have a specialty in integrative abdominal and pelvic therapy. And I'm the Chief Medical Officer of VMetrics Health Creation Lab. So similar to Lexi, I grew up in Kelowna, and our dad, Dr. Mark, is a chiropractor, naturopath, health data entrepreneur. He has really been a role model for us. So he really inspired me to get into the health field. So I've never really thought to do anything other than this wellness, healthcare business and naturopathic medicine. So.
Mm-hmm. And our dad is the CEO right now. And so it's the three of us. It's a family business. Wow. And yeah, it's really been our living legacy.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like, for a second, I'm like, oh, I'm so impressed. I'm team female always. Not that I don't, cheer for the men, but I am just so, like, within seconds, I'm like, I don't even think I should be sitting here. You two are very impressive. Okay, so for people that are like me, I have never downloaded the app. I have no idea about VMetrics. I didn't do my homework because I actually wanted to hear right from you guys, because I'm assuming lots of people in Kelowna have no idea what VMetrics is. So can one of you kind of explain what this app is and what is VMetrics about?
Yeah, so we have been building for many years now, and so it's okay that you haven't heard about us. We haven't done any active marketing, and we're now ready to introduce and shine the light on what we've been building to the public, starting here locally in Kelowna. And so VMetrics, the Health Creation Lab, is a personal evolution system for people who really recognize that they've been trying to solve this puzzle of their health and well-being with key pieces of the puzzle missing. And that missing piece, it's not another supplement or program or 30-day challenge or wearable technology. It's really not any short-term, outside-in, service-level solution. What's really been missing is a system that paints the complete holistic picture of your well-being. And what's been missing is the system that supports you in creating health from the inside out and teaches you to take ownership and understand your choices rather than feeling powerless and stuck, which so many people do when it comes to their health. We weren't meant to manage our health on our own, and that's largely been how it's been set up in our society. And we really want to walk this path with people and empower you to take ownership and step into your own power.
Do you have anything to add to that?
That was really well said.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. I always believe things happen for a reason, and I am on a health journey. I can relate. I feel like lots is finally, as women, 3 women sitting here, there's a lot about women not being studied, and all the data is men and all this kind of things. And it's not, you guys aren't here like just saying women, you're here for everyone's health. But what made you guys, other than your dad being in the health, was there a day that you're like, did you struggle? Do you guys have something that you're like, I need to figure this out? And then you kind of went down this rabbit hole, and then you're like, well, let's create this app and like, let's do this, or anything like that?
A combination, yeah. So like you said, and like we explained, we grew up in this family that had vitality and health as our primary value and focus. And so from a really young age, we were clarifying our values to help us make decisions. We were more conscious of our food choices, and maybe got teased at school for having more green in our lunches. Which I'm so grateful for now. Yeah, we didn't have the typical upbringing. We were, our dad primarily really took a role of educating us in how to take care of ourselves better. And as we aged and went through school and with our friends and classmates and colleagues, we started to see the declines in health and, you know, some more symptoms arise, and we realized that we had just a leg up in our start to life and how much of a difference that made. And we created this system not to avoid or prevent anything from ever happening to our health and our, you know, not to avoid disease from happening or the surprises or little hiccups along the way. It's when we encounter those, we're equipped to move through them with more grace and more confidence and more self-responsibility.
Yeah, I'll add to that when I talk about understanding your choices, there's never been a moment that I felt powerless, like I don't know what to do next. And a lot of people, unfortunately, we recognize you feel that way. And what we want people to understand is when something goes on, for example, like very minor is I wake up, I have a sore throat, I feel like I'm coming down with an illness. I'm like, I know my choices. I know what to do right now. I can take action. I'm not powerless to this. And I know I can connect the dots for what led me here. And so whether it's feeling more distress in work or school, or something happens to a family member, someone gets seriously ill, we have those resources to cope with that and be able to show up with more vitality and really grow and progress through that happening.
Very cool. So can you walk me through so the app is launched?
We've done a soft launch here to our local Kelowna community. We're still fine-tuning our international launch so that how can we support people better remotely for both the assessments, the education, and a huge thing being the community support. How can we build that community and camaraderie for our members internationally? But soft launch here in Kelowna. We have our flagship headquarters in Pandosy Village, right across from Fresh Air Experience. And yeah, so if people want to test drive the app, you can go to our website and start, and we can discuss the member journey too.
Very cool. So without getting so detailed, we'll save some for people to go check it out. But what can I kind of experience in this app? So like I would download it. Do I have to put in all like my history, or like do you have to answer a bunch of questions? Like, can you walk me about like a little bit of the things that I would use this app for? Like, is it am I supposed to use like this, tell them what my symptoms today are, or like I don't feel good today, or I had stomach ache, my head hurts? Like, are you tracking people's wellness as well as fitness? Or can you talk to me a little bit more about it?
You want to take that one?
Yeah. So yes, you download our app or you come into our center and we can get you set up. And we start with a set of questions to understand you better. And so within that, we've created our well-being index. And so that is a mix of objective and subjective questionnaires where we look at, within our vitality assessment, your functional strength, your body composition, your autonomic nervous system, and your cardiovascular system. And so that's part of our in-person objective assessment that we run you through in our headquarters center, and also developing the virtual version to run you through in remote settings. And then we also factor in subjective questionnaires of our values. So what are your top values and how congruently do you feel you're living in accord with them? Your relationships, so your relationship to your environment, your career, to yourself, to your loved ones, your
Sleep and recovery.
Sleep and recovery index. We've got our habits index, assessing key habits and how you've integrated those key habits into your life and your understanding of them, as well as our choke point index. So that assesses our bottlenecks or key restrictions to where we're blocking our innate potential, our vitality, our wellness, or energy from flowing to help remove those obstacles. So we have a set of questionnaires that help us understand more about where you're at, and then guide our education, our system of support, and how we guide through our health coaching system as well, and key habits to integrate. Anything to add on that?
Yeah, so that sounds like a lot. They can all be done in the comfort of your own home, from your phone, except for the vitality assessment. If you're here in Kelowna, definitely we recommend coming into our center for a much more refined experience and doing body composition, for example, which we can only do in person. And then the rest can be done from the comfort of your own home, and you get to choose the level of support that you want. But again, it starts with clarifying your goals. What are the outcomes that you most desire? What is that picture of your best self that you really want to achieve? And then the role of the assessments is knowing, where are you right now? Like, without knowing where I am right now, I don't understand that gap of how to get there. The assessments also play a role of measuring your progress along the way and measuring your response to whatever it is you implement. So if you come in for a vitality assessment today, you do your relationships index, you understand, okay, here I am right now. As I start to implement new habits, I reassess and I can see how am I responding to the things I'm changing. And that's been a missing gap in our healthcare system is you do these programs or plans, or you start training for a marathon. I'm sure it's relatable for a lot of people right now. But there is a danger in doing that blindly and not knowing how is your body actually responding. In the context of a marathon, you can start training, but you could be running down your nervous system. You could be losing muscle mass. You might be improving certain cardiovascular biomarkers, but what else is going on here? Are your relationships suffering because you're going off running at night and not spending time with your wife? Like, just examples here. But it's so important to really assess your response. I think that covers a lot of it.
Most people, or I've heard that some people are like, they get a diagnosis or something comes out of nowhere. They think something comes out of nowhere, where really if we were tracking the right metrics, the relevant metrics to see their trends over time, we would have started to see that decline and been able to catch that sooner. So that's the key part of our metrics tracking. And no, it's not putting in everything you eat in a day all the time or tracking every single moment of every day. We don't want to keep you, we are not promoting neurosis here. We want to help bring you more awareness to your system and your body and how your habits are affecting your overall vitality, and especially in the long term.
Yeah, it's also important to clarify that when we talk about the assessments, we recommend every 2 months, for example, doing them. It's not something daily, weekly. If you're making more changes, you're being more proactive, we do recommend a more frequent cadence, but overall it's every 2 months. Even if you do it once every 6 months, you still, starting now, for example, if I did this every 6 months, I would have this trend for decades to come. And like Aspen said, when I start to see these declines of aging, I can be like, okay, I'm going to step in and intervene. Like the amount of motivation I get when one assessment, a biomarker's down, I'm like, hey, I want to actually focus on that area again and take ownership. And it allows you to course correct so many times, even values. Like, I'm not living congruent with my values this week. I'm going to tune back into that and be kinder, be more compassionate, and be more in awe of my body and where we live and the life we get to live. So.
Yeah, very cool. I just think that, I mean, health is consistency and fitness, but I totally think that's so cool to think about preventing things. Like you hear people younger getting diagnosed with things or people suffering. I mean, the world we live in, it's like, look at me, I sit at a desk all day. Like that has impacted me. And I feel like I'm having stuff come up now, but maybe there are certain things I should have been doing, a couple of years ago to prevent that. So I think that's so cool that you're helping, trying to prevent. And humans, we want to see those changes pretty fast. But I do think it's important to know that like health and fitness and all mental side of everything, like it doesn't happen overnight, and you do have to give yourself compassion and grace. So very cool. And I like the data and the history, and like it would be so cool if your parents would have done it, and then you also, because your genes and stuff and all the data. Where were you guys like 20 years ago?
Oh, our dad's been 40 years. Our dad's been in the space and still like so deeply passionate about this, and we are
it's
too.
It's just gonna
and
get cooler and more tech and like add-ons. I can see add-ons, in the future for you guys and stuff.
Yeah, we have big plans.
Is there any, I know you guys are like soft launched, but have you seen, or do you have anyone that so far stands out in you don't have to name them or anything, but like just a highlight of a client or someone, you're obviously passionate about this. Do you have any like stories that you're just like so happy you saw this big shift in this person? Anyone that you can think of?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. You can build on it. Yeah, we've seen great success with couples who come in, because when you say you get a recommendation, but then you go home, and if your partner isn't also on board with these changes, it makes it really difficult. Like when we talk about our history, our families have such a unique culture where we value this health. And we notice that if you don't have that culture or that support system, it's really difficult to make changes. So the couples that have come in that have both been on board and be like, we want to be better for ourselves, for each other. We can implement habits together. We've seen some really good success. And whether that's improvements in body composition, improved cardiovascular support, improvements in the symptoms that they've been dealing with and felt really powerless to change. Yeah, we've seen some awesome shifts that people, when they get into this, we call them health creators. You know, we're the health creation lab, and we want to create this culture of it's not healthcare, it's health creation. You're being proactive. When people step into that role, we see them just absolutely light up.
Yeah, we've seen a kind of common story is, you know, I tried this thing that worked for my friend, but it's not working for me. And so these people come in having tried a lot of different things, and maybe they work for a period of time, then they plateaued, and whatever their story is, this couple came in and they started to really learn about how to shift their state. So a lot of our work is about nervous system and managing your state and your mood, and how your breath can shift your ability to react to life. And so this couple came in and they learned how to make better decisions for their own bodies about what to put in their bodies, how to move, the different types of exercise, how to hydrate better. They're like all these pieces that equip them with the knowledge to make better decisions in their own life. And each of them are, you know, slightly different in how they approach that, but they're on this journey together.
Yeah, and like high-fiving each other, reminding each other, you can't do that, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Accountability partner.
Yeah, we think of our health as like this separated to-do list so much of the time. It's like, it's not about doing more at all. It's about really what are those keystone patterns, what are those keystone habits that are the biggest change makers. And everything, like our whole body, you think about our system, it's not these separate pieces and the parts make up the whole. It's this interwoven system that works together. And so we have to think about our health in that way and approach it with that way, from that stance.
And that's the biggest thing we see is people start to make those connections that, you know, it's not just this diet. It's not just the exercise. It's not just my association with work and culture and environment. It's if they're miserable in a situation at work, for example, like, it's difficult to make those shifts in what really matters in their life. And so understanding how the system works together and how different influences really affect them, and then having a more foundational response in how to move forward and make the decisions that really make a difference in their lives.
I love the couple examples, so thanks for sharing that. But I even think back to like even like some families, like you said, you guys' family, you live this, you breathe it. But what's wrong with getting your young kids, you know, in this healthy, teaching them this? You'll just actually set them up for success. All I hear is when you have kids, they're always sick, and like, maybe that's the pattern. We're, you know, feeding them lots of sugar. I mean, we've all seen kids like, I'm an auntie. You're like, well, here's Pop, I don't care. But then you send them home and you're like, what did you do to my child? You're like, gave them lots of sugar. I'm the auntie. But very cool. Well, ladies, did I miss asking any questions, or is there any other little nuggets you want to let Kelowna? I think it's very cool. We're going to have an article. We'll link it to the website. I would just say that people can contact you if you have any questions, pop in. Like, you guys are pretty reachable.
Yeah, I would say our website is v-metrics.com. By the way, the V stands for vitality metrics. Just to connect those dots.
I connected, but maybe nobody else did.
So it's v-metrics.com. We, again, are in Pandosy Village. And you can email support@vmetrics.com as well. We haven't posted a ton on social media, but vmetrics HQ. Reach out to us if any of this resonates. We're super excited to speak with you and support our community. And we will be launching Kelowna as the first health creation zone globally. So we have this idea for a campaign similar to Blue Zones, but health creation zones, where we really want For example, Kelowna would be the Vital Kelowna campaign. And how can our community come together to support a greater sense of collective well-being? And what opens up, what happens when we do support each other in that way? And so if that resonates with any businesses, reach out to us. Like,
I was
we
just
want
going to say Aspen Kelowna now. We'll be talking.
Yeah. So if a business wants to be a part of that campaign, reach out to us. And we really want it to be collaborative. We get really excited when we think about Kelowna being the first health creation zone globally and then expanding from there.
I think that's so cool. Oh my God. Can we fast forward and get there? I'm like already like got so many ideas. I'm like, oh, I've been dreaming of this. I'm like, you know how like malls unfortunately are kind of, people are buying online. I always think, is our malls gonna be like a mall like one day? But I'm like, what if it could be one of those like a hub where you just like go in instead and you're like, oh, check my blood today, or like a health center, but like a wellness group where you're
Well, yeah, that's our health creation lab focus here in town. So I'm a naturopathic doctor, and in town I also have Percival Naturopathic Medicine, which is my clinic in the same space as Metrics. And we wanted this space to be a local hub for, you know, if you want to socialize and come in and have a different mindset, so we don't need to go out to the bar and have alcohol involved, for us to like have a good time and find our people. So that's what we're working towards with this health creation zone campaign. And yeah, if you have naturopathic coverage and are in Kelowna or BC locally, if you want to come in, we can have a discussion on how to make this work for you as well.
Yeah, and given this is live tonight, we are hosting the Wellpreneur networking event. They're really casual networking events for coaches, practitioners, anyone in the wellness space, personal trainers. So if that sounds interesting and you want to come check out our space, we are hosting it tonight.
very cool. Where is it at? At your house, or at your house, at your clinic.
Yes, yeah, which is Groves and Tutt Street. Again, right across from Fresh Air Experience in Pandosy Village.
Very cool. Well, thanks, ladies, for joining us, and I can't wait to have you back on in like even a year. I feel like just I see big things for you, and it's very exciting. And thanks for your passion and your dad, and very cool. So I just want to highlight ATB Wealth again. We honestly could not run these community spotlights. It's so important to support our local independent, and it's so cool that Kelowna could have the first wellness hub. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
Community Spotlight, powered by ATB Wealth Kelowna. Ready to take a powerful step towards the future you want today? Connect with local advisors at ATB Wealth Kelowna to get started.